Let me turn off or turn on my mic and turn on my camera. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm trying to do this without having to pay for StreamYards at the moment. So I have to kind of do my own, like, I don't know, producing, I guess you could say. So I do have a Stream Deck, though. I should probably try utilizing that. I haven't even had that plugged in forever. The thing's really cool, though. I got some really awesome sound bites shared on there, too, or saved on there. So, anyway, I'm going to finish up with my commentary on Hidden True Crime, Laura Matthias, her husband, Dr. John. So yeah, let's do that. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get rid of this. I have no idea where I left off. Darn it. I meant to look at that before I started, but, oh well. Okay, so let's get this started. Video file. And there it is.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
We're back.
I hope everyone's Monday has been wonderful. I hope your weekend was even better. So yeah, mine was mostly uneventful, I think. Although, no, I can't say that. Yesterday was very eventful. I had the privilege of going to like a lunch party, I guess, dinner party at one of our regulars business places. Now, all I'm going to say is there was 2 parts of a huge garage, a mini casino, a theater, 2 bedrooms that I didn't get to see those, though. One of them's called the Marilyn Monroe room. Probably millions of dollars worth of cars. I did take pictures, but I promised I wouldn't put them up on social media, so sorry. And just the things there were amazing. Like the cars and everything were great all on their own. Yeah, obviously, who doesn't appreciate, a fine classic antique car or whatever. But for me, what I found to be really just amazing was in this gigantic garage that he I think playfully nicknamed his man cave. There was this full bar stools, but the nostalgia of the like 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and some of the 60s. That's what was truly amazing. Like, that's what it was like. It was probably like heaven for anyone with ADHD, because you could walk into this big, huge garage like 150 times and you will always see something you did not see before. That's what was so cool about it. So I'm just saying that was one of the highlights of my year. Probably something I'm even going to remember for the rest of my life. So I'm just very sad that my dad wasn't around to have shared that with me, because he and I were both kind of car buffs. When I was a junior in high school, he bought a 73 Mustang and we fixed it up together. So that would have been something I would have really enjoyed sharing with him. But sadly, he's been gone since 2013. So anyway, I got to share it with Michael. I guess close second. Anyway, okay, so I'm moving on. First, though, before I start, I need to see where I left off on the last one, because I don't want to re-commentate on parts already commentated. So just take me 1 second here to pull it up. Your channel, videos. And there we go. And get to the end.
I made a video recently about
fucking ads. Okay. No, come on.
It's setting boundaries. Here. It's but at least it's called setting boundaries. Okay, I'm that believe and this is why until now, who's doing the escalation here? It's not anyone else. No one. But at least the appearance of escalation happening.
You don't fit that idea. You never did. You're not conforming to this.
Okay, I want to see where's the red bar.
very narrow, rigid perspective that they want you to fit into.
What a friend is and their friend. And
It's called setting
Okay.
boundaries. Okay.
Damn it. Okay. Conform. Okay. I'll get there. Just a second. I
Hey, on
can't
that
see.
note, I'm going to end this here, and I'll do part 2 shortly, but this is going to be the end of.
I can almost see it. I can almost see it. Oh, wow. I'm all the way back there. Okay, I'm good. I got it. So, let's see here. It is 1 hour, about 1 hour, 15 minutes into it. Oh. Oh, damn it. I wanted to show my cats because both of my cats were on the left seat and back of me. Oh, my one cat's here. See my one here. All right, I gotta go back to this here. We're gonna remove that for a second. Okay. So you see my one cat? See, kitty. Hi, that's the kitty. And over here, see right there, laying on top of the left seat. That's Jinx. That's the cat we stole from our neighbor. Kind of stole. I don't know. I mean, he eventually was agreed to it, but the cat was pretty much ours before that. So, okay,
There's research supporting this, and
get back to that part. Okay, we'll start right about here.
page 142.
Oh God.
My dogma is, quote, my dogma is that all dogma is suspect. And it seems to me that most of the harm in the world is done by those who are dogmatically certain that they are right. For being absolutely right means that those who disagree are absolutely wrong.
That makes sense. That would be harmful because to believe you're dogmatically right means that it's like your position is like omnipotent, like it's holy, it's righteous. And when you're just forming an opinion on anything, nothing's ever really righteous. Okay, so all right, I still can't believe people went to school for X amount of years for this kind of common sense knowledge, but okay.
Those who are absolutely
Seriously, they all should have just knew my mom. Like, that's all they needed.
wrong are, of course, dangerous to society and must be restrained or eliminated. That is the beginning of the road to the torture chamber and the gas oven.
See, and he's right to a degree, because when you have a dogmatic belief like that, then everyone else who is wrong is not just wrong, they're considered like immoral, evil, or whatever. And, whatever. And I could see like someone taking this to an even higher level and wanting to take out the opposition or whatever. But he's using this to describe two women. I want to say middle-aged women, but I don't think Christina's quite middle-aged, but well, right around that time of life. Two women of that age who were friends and then had a stupid falling out and are now just sharing, or one of them sharing her experience with the other alike. He's trying to equate that to a dogmatic battle of morals. What now? Come again? Like, dude, I think you need some excitement in your life. I'm not trying to be funny or whatever, but seriously, because if you're going to try to turn everything into like some big Star Wars movie or something, then I think you need something to do in your real life that's not boring as fuck. I don't know, maybe try a cage in the garage that has some, I don't know, like speak and says, or what are they called? Speak and spells or something. You know what I mean? Like some toys, try putting the triangle in the square or something. Yeah. Something. She needs to get you something for your fucking cage, though. Maybe a wheel. I don't know. But please, for the love of God, do not get him Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt does not deserve that. I don't care what anyone thinks he's done in the past. Maybe he has. I don't know. but he does not deserve to be in a cage with Dr. John.
Unquote. That's what we're talking about.
No, that's not what we're talking about.
So when people say, oh, gee, this is just Mean Girls, this is just a stupid cat fight, they don't understand they don't understand the stakes here. They don't understand what's going on. They don't understand that to the people in the smear campaign, this is a moral crusade that is reducing you.
Okay, so people taking sides and arguing this on behalf of one creator or another, sure, they truly do believe they are right, and that's why they're doing this. However, they don't believe that they are righteous, okay? They don't believe that they have been granted their position and the ability to come to their conclusion through divine intervention. It's not a religious fight for them. That's ridiculous. Even if they're Catholic, even if they're like staunchly Catholic, they're not here fighting over morals. And honestly, to be honest with you, anyone who truly does have morals would know that they would just automatically think, I might be wrong. Because that's the moralistic thing to have in mind as you approach something so ridiculous as this.
To someone or something that's subhuman that needs to be destroyed. This is an ideological war against you.
Now, for granted, I heard this from Turtle Boy. I just want to throw a shout out here. If you are enjoying any kind of commentary regarding this, you must check out Turtle Boy's. I think he called it like exposing Laura Matthias, and there's like 9 parts last I knew. Because they're hilarious. They're freaking hilarious. Now, where was I going with this?
And by the way, many of the people in the smear campaign that we have not named are continuing. They're not evaluating against the page 140 we will get into is bad.
Come on.
They're page 142. Here. They don't understand what's going on. They don't understand that to the people in the smear campaign, this is a moral crusade that is reducing you to someone or something that's subhuman. That
Again, thanks to Turtle Boy for saying this and shouting it out, making me go and look. So he's complaining that in his belief, in his narration, that the people in the smear campaign are reducing her to something as subhuman. However, she was on a live stream like not long before this. I think it was Duty Ron was the name of the channel or whatever, where Duty Ron, I believe Duty Ron called Christina subhuman, and Laura Matthias just happily, yeah, didn't overtly agree, but definitely didn't dispute it and didn't show any kind of uncomfortability over hearing that. In fact, just smiled right along with it. So, it's the hypocrisy for me.
needs to be destroyed. This is an ideological war against you. And by the way, many of the people in the smear campaign that we have not named are continuing. They have continued.
Damn it.
Just so you know, I'm not going to talk about it more than that. Let's talk about some other risks. We will get into defining and stalking in a
Sorry, I'm trying different scenes here because I don't. They're all going to be the same.
As long as we're talking about risks, I want to bring up some real risks here. People say, oh my gosh, why would she get a restraining order if this is just a cat fight among mean girls? Nothing's going to happen. This is nothing, right? No, virtuous violence theory suggests otherwise. And if you do, as I've done, if you do some of the stalking risk assessments, the risks are considerable.
And this is what he does is he assesses and evaluates offenders. So this is what you do with your philosophy.
What now?
We know
Where's the pause button? what is that really what he fucking does for a living? He is put into a position with some league, I don't know, law and order municipality somewhere, and he judges whether or not people in prison or going into trial are going to be repeat offenders. Is that what she said? Or offenders? I'm not quite sure.
There's so many examples of humanize them, and you see it as if you do some of the stalking risk assessments, the risks are considerable.
And this is what he does is he assesses and evaluates offenders.
Okay, offenders. Okay. Probably looking to see what the chances are of them being repeat offenders or offenders or people in jail who are about to go to trial and they're trying to maybe plea out due to insanity or something. This can't be what he does. Come on. Like, all right. Due to personal experiences, I have seriously lost all fucking faith in the legal system. And the First Amendment for that matter. But this is gonna be a step too far if this is actually what he does. I really hope that's not what he does. Does he philosophize their likelihood of committing crimes or something? What the fuck am I listening to?
This is what you do with your philosophy.
We know.
Just kidding.
What you do with your philosophy. Okay, I watched this before. That's why I said the thing about philosophy, although I forgot that was coming directly up. This doesn't seem like a slip of the tongue to me, okay? Because there's been some contention or whatever, some questioning of his education exactly, his degrees and in what field they were in, yada, yada. I don't know. I haven't looked into anything. I don't really care. But I am interested, though, if something can be proven one way or the other. But one of the things I've seen is that he doesn't, it's been claimed, I don't know if it's true, allegedly, he doesn't have a degree in psychology, but he has a degree in philosophy. I don't know. I've been wondering for years, like, what does someone do with a philosophy degree besides like teach philosophy, you know? But fuck me, I guess you can do many things with one, maybe. I don't know. You can even evaluate offenders. What the fuck? And the way that she said offenders too, that doesn't even sound like it's just like criminal offenders. That sounds like it's a specific kind of offender, like PDF files or something, you know? Which is, I don't know what I think about that.
Psychology.
There's so many examples of when you engage with people on a moral crusade and your goal is to dehumanize them and you see it as a moral issue, it will escalate. And that was a concern you and I had. If people say, oh my God, this stalking order is so frivolous, no, it's not. And this is why. Because you and I were trying to prevent someone landing at our door with a gun. We did not want to get to that point.
And somebody has now threatened us with that online.
Yes.
Officially.
We received our first official death threat the other day.
Bullshit.
Which again,
not our first official, actually.
Okay.
That's true. We've had others.
I was going to say, there is no way in hell that was their first official one. Come on. Okay, now I'm curious as to what it is they mean when they say first official one, because there's been lots of times throughout my online career, like long before my YouTube channel, where I really thought that I had received a death threat. Then looking into it and learning what constitutes a death threat, especially by like federal standards, I received nothing of the sort. So it has to be something specific. You know, it has to be, yo, I know where you live. I'm going to be there Monday and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to you. You know what I mean? That's a specific kind of threat. But someone just saying, I see you out in public, I'm going to, you know, that's not specific enough. Believe it or not, it's not. So I wonder what they mean by first official death threat. I wonder if maybe they've gotten a lot of the, you know, false death threat or no, false categorized death threats like I can relate to, or they just never really received any kind, and now they receive some kind and they're just assuming it's that kind. I'm willing to think though that they might have received one that's actually constitutes as one officially, because you know that there's no way that was the first one. So, and I'm not saying they don't deserve it, don't get me wrong. I don't think that they deserve it. Throughout all of my watching of them, I at no point in time really wanted or desired or even thought of doing such a thing. You know, whatever. We're all different. We all can stand to exist here on the earth and on YouTube all together. So I'm not saying that I can see it because they deserve it. I'm just saying I can see it because I know the internet.
That's true.
But it was very chilling.
It was chilling, and it shows you the extent to which, when you start framing things in terms of this moral crusade, this is
Okay.
what you get.
Again, I want to point out he's using this as an example that he's true about, or he's right, and what he's saying is all true and shit. Their channel, to my knowledge, as of last time I looked, lost about 10,000 subscribers. All kinds of content creators have been doing streams, you know, commentary and other things regarding this channel and these two. The alleged quote unquote stalker, Christina there, her TikTok has gained, I want to say last I looked, like almost 1,500 followers, which is nothing really on TikTok. But still, it's 1,500. So I'm willing to bet that they have a lot of people who really kind of dislike these two. You know, Lauren and Dr. John have a lot of people who kind of dislike them. 10,000 people who used to subscribe to them, you know, to start. And if they received one, their first official, then that's not evidence that what he's saying applies to the majority or is of the norm. That's one of the most outliers, really, there is. So he's reaching.
Bad. What are some of the other risks? And we're going to define.
More reading, yay. This whole thing just feels and sounds like mansplaining to me. Like, I don't know how she can just sit there and take it. And like, it's like every time that she says something, kind of interrupts him or takes him off his train of thought, you can almost see the fucking lightning bolts or fucking laser bolts coming out of his eyes. He gets mad, I think.
Find stalking in a second, but let's talk about some of the other risks involved here and why this is not just mean girl behavior. Number one, the obsessive nature of the posts. Everyone we talk about this all the time. The number of criminals engaged in murder or very violent acts, almost all of them have some type of obsessive qualities. They ruminate about the victim. They can't stop thinking about the victim. They obsess over the victim, right?
I call bullshit. You think about all the people who have been killed. First of all, not everything is a crime of passion, okay? Or some things may be in the heat of the moment, but still not a crime of passion. It's not like premeditated or whatever. A lot of it is just like, there's a lot of road rage instances. There's a lot of, you disrespected me at school kind of shit. Whatever. There's all kinds of reasons why people go off and unalive someone. But he's saying, you think about, are they all obsessed about someone or something? No, they didn't. They didn't. Some, sure, your extreme stalking cases, sure. You know, people who were once in a relationship or one just delusionally believed they were in a relationship, you know, and then was, I don't know, getting all of their advances turned down and shit like that. Sure. And they had like a candle shrine or whatever, like Alicia Silverstone had, and what the fuck was the name of that movie? Crush. That was the name of the movie. Okay, yeah, there's been some cases like that. Sure, no doubt. But he's talking about it again like it's the norm, like it's the majority. And it's not just like one field of the reasons why people commit that crime. I forgot I turned it off.
That creates an attachment to the victim. Here you have that type of obsession. Another risk here.
Months and months and months of posts, despite not communicating.
Well, despite you saying you feel threatened.
Yeah, starting it with I feel threatened, then the social media, the Instagram to Instagram and TikTok, and there's a YouTube. I didn't know actually until after this. And
She felt threatened because someone was creating TikTok videos talking about their experience with her, but rarely, I think maybe once, maybe even by accident, I don't know, but maybe once mentioned her by name. The rest of the time, it was just the creator's ex-friend. That's what it was. She felt threatened by that, yo. Holy shit. I can't with this shit. Oh my God. Listen, people not liking you is not a threat. People vocalizing their dislikement of you is not a threat or harassment. People talking about their experience with you, whether they list you by name or not, is certainly not harassment or threats or stalking. First of all, if you put content up online publicly on like YouTube or whatever, you put all this shit out there to be seen by people publicly, then if someone you don't like watches it, that's not stalking. That's kind of achieving your intended goal, I think, because you got a view. Okay. If you were participating in like a private forum and someone keeps following you around just to fucking break your balls or whatever, or even if you're publicly tweeting and someone just keeps following you around from tweet thread to tweet thread to insert themselves into it and then just fucking defame you and disparage you, that might be harassment, sure. But someone telling their story on their own channel, in their own space, okay, it's not harassment. Get over it. Like, if you are this upset over this little thing, then you don't have the skin for YouTube or social media for that matter, or maybe even PTA meetings. I don't know. But seriously, you're not entitled to say and do whatever the fuck you want to people and demand they never talk about it. You're not entitled to that. So this person here kind of fucked around, talked a lot of shit about her ex-friend and stuff there. And I think that there's more to it, but the ex-friend there just kind of shared her experience on her TikTok and these little videos and shit. And Lauren's acting like she ain't got a right to fucking do that. But she does. You should be thankful and grateful to her that she's not blasting your name with every video, because I think legally she has every right to. But she's not. So this isn't about you. This isn't about harassing you. This isn't about harming you. This is about her speaking her story and hoping others will watch and bear witness. It's cathartic. I'm sorry if that offends you. Like, especially when you do have such a large platform of like over 300,000 subscribers. You, like, I want to say, you Streisand the fuck out of this, but 300,000 subscribers. At the time she started, her TikTok had like 500. Now she's up to almost 2,000. 2,000. 300,000. I think Laura here had like 324, 25,000 at the start of this, maybe 28,000. I'm not positive. But substantially amount, or not substantially, but a decent amount more than she has now. You mean to tell me that her little videos that before Laura did blow this up had a handful of people watching? That's too much. Holy shit. Yeah.
months and months of it without any response from me. Escalating. Obsessive.
There's also this
Escalating.
inordinate rage and hatred towards you.
Wait, I'm sorry. I don't want to miss it.
And-
I just send their quick text out. Okay.
And that's a risk, because when people develop this intense rage towards another human being, and I think, by the way, with the TikToker, I think a lot of that is repressed.
I saw no rage from the TikToker. I saw a woman just sharing her experience, kind of like get her voice out, to get her story out, to get it out of her, to work through whatever emotional fucking shit she was going through after being fucked over by a friend. But she doesn't do it ragefully. Sure, there may be at times where you think maybe she's a bit angry about something, but for the most part, it just seems frustration than anything. It seems frustration that knowing that her knowing exactly what happened is what happened, when Lauren's here reaches so massive that no one's even listening to the TikToker, because Lauren is all up in their ears and shit, you know? And I think that's really the strongest emotion you get from the TikToker, is that she's frustrated that Lauren, just by being such a huge entity on YouTube, gets all the belief when the TikToker went through what she went through, and no one's even bothering to consider it. That's the biggest emotion I get. So this is just ridiculous.
But you see it, the way you see that rage is by ignoring a stalking injunction.
What?
Right? The way you see that rage come out is by being oppositional. It's after our first hearing, it's going outside.
See, because I saw the video where the TikToker was served, okay, at the crime convention thing. She didn't ignore it. She adhered to it. She was very polite to the officer. She had a few questions, and they answered her as best as they could. And she was very understanding about the whole thing. I saw no rage, no ignorance, no intention, none of her saying, fuck this shit, and ripping it up and walking away or something. No, this is ridiculous. Wait, how did she ignore it? Seriously.
On the courtroom steps and doing a mic drop.
A mic drop.
That's taunting you. The stalker did that. On the day of our hearing in September, she went outside, she filmed herself doing a mic drop.
Okay. Think about all the times you, as a participant here on social media, you've used the term or the visualization of a mic drop. Think about why it is you put that up there. I guarantee you, it was because you had just read something that was a mic drop, and you're like, holy shit, mic drop. Or it's because you said something where you know that you just shut the shit down, that you're positive it's a mic drop, and you do mic drop. So if he's calling it a mic drop, I'm just going to assume that the TikToker, whatever she said or streamed or recorded on those court steps or whatever, kind of shut them down, right? At least that's what I take him saying that as. Maybe boomers shouldn't try to use slang, like younger slang. I don't know.
That's harassment.
What was supposed to, it was supposed to be our evidentiary hearing, and the judge changed it to a later date and
The judge continued it.
lessened the stalking injunction, and she went out and did a mic drop.
Against Utah code, by the way. Utah code specifies quite clearly that you can't modify a stalking injunction without hearing evidence
From
the petitioner.
and that's what
Didn't petitioner have to submit some evidence to get the TRO to begin with? But also, this mic drop event happened after a hearing, which means that people were there at the hearing and they testified. They spoke with the judge. That testimony is considered evidence. So the judge did hear evidence effectively. And whatever it is he heard, he concluded that this stalking injunction needs to be lessened, meaning the accused shouldn't have as many restrictions on her as a result of this stalking TRO. So he lessened it. Yeah. It against Utah code. What the my God. It's Oh man, I wish I had my Stream Deck on right now because I would hit the re button right now and just like seriously.
from Lauren. And the
I'm kind of dating my Stream Deck though. It's been that long since I used it.
the injunction was modified without hearing a shred of evidence from us. Also, just so people know this, our lawyer tried to get the stalking injunction enforced.
My lawyer, who's not my brother, P.S. Go ahead.
Our lawyer,
No shit. Didn't she say her brother has been gone for like however long? Like, was it 2023 or early 2020? I forget. But he's been gone for a while. Why would anyone think that he's her attorney? That's so weird.
Daston, not her brother, our lawyer who,
One of four.
yeah, one of,
Oh my god, she has 4 lawyers. Oh my god. We're all screwed. Everyone's fucked. 4 lawyers. 4 lawyers.
right, we have other lawyers.
I'm guessing one's like a business lawyer. One's probably like maybe an entertainment lawyer. Then one could be like an estate lawyer or planning lawyer or some shit like that, maybe. A real estate lawyer. And then I bet they hired, oh, sorry, I'm hitting the microphone. And then I bet they hired a lawyer for this. That was the 4th lawyer. Yeah. I'm just guessing that.
There's 2. None of our
them are my brother.
Yeah, so whatever, let the rumor mill.
Wait, do people think that she did obtain this sperm and give birth to a child and it grew up and became a lawyer? Like she cloned her brother? That's fucking okay. Whatever.
Our lawyer tried to argue correctly that because there were multiple violations of a stalking injunction, which is a felony, that the stalking injunction should get automatically enforced. Guess what?
And that is Utah code. That is if you.
Okay. I'm guessing that these violations, if they actually did occur, occurred under the first original stalking injunction. But then after the judge heard what he heard and decided, yeah, this order does not need to be in place to this level, and he lessened it, then whatever violations they were no longer violations. So okay. How can I word this better? So, I don't know how I can word it any better. I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, no, say that you get in trouble, you get arrested, okay, for something. And as a result of that arrest, they charge you with shit. But then it's determined that the arrest was a false arrest. Well, then the charges get dropped. And then the police have to come at you another way to get those charges to stick. If what came out during the realization of the false arrest doesn't null and void whatever evidence they had for those charges originally. I'm guessing. But that's kind of what it's like. How can you charge someone for violating an order that they never should have had to begin with? And according to the judge, like really.
Violate.
Like this just screams entitlement. I swear to God, I'm going to do an entitlement video off of her 9-hour stream. It's just going to take me a while to pull the clips I want to use. If anyone is familiar with this stream and there's any clips in there you think I could use or should add to an entitlement video, I implore you, just send me timestamps. I will go and pull the clips myself. You don't have to pull them. Just say, hey, this part here, and give me the time it starts and the time it stops. That's it. And I will go pull up the video and I will pull up the timestamp. That would be a help.
Twice.
Our lawyer made the point that hearing never should have even occurred. It shouldn't have even been an issue. It's black and white. Someone violated a stalking injunction. It gets enforced. It should have been enforced. End of story. Let's move on.
Is that what the hearing was about? I thought it was a hearing to hear, to determine whether or not the TRO should stand. That's what I thought, anyways. But that's funny. If this was a hearing because the order was violated or whatever, and the judge heard what the respondent had to say and walked away saying, fuck that, there is no violation. In fact, we're going to lessen the injunction here. Yeah, this says a lot.
You and I have our privacy intact. That's all we wanted. We wanted this to be private. We wanted to move on with our lives without someone harassing us all the time, bullying us, stalking us.
Calling. We'll get into that later.
Oh, is she saying that Christina was calling her? I doubt that. I seriously doubt that. But still. And I don't understand how it's bullying. Like, poor John's not talking about bullying us. Because the TikToker just shared shared the experience and the interaction between her. It's just verbally told her story of the interaction of the time she found out Lauren was talking shit about her. Yeah.
Calling people, contacting people.
That's all we wanted. This argument that somehow we wanted views from Law and Crime or that we set this up, that's so ridiculous. Lauren, I'm not going to read it again. Lauren read a motion
Sorry.
that our lawyer wrote to protect our privacy. Almost no civil stalking cases reveal or disclose the information.
Well, and the reason many people have asked that fairly, and you know
That's
what?
not true.
Let's not even get into it. I don't even want to talk about.
That's not true. So if there's a gag order in place, then yeah, they won't. But my understanding is most of the time when there's a gag order in place, it's not so much for like the wholeness of it overall. It's because like a specific piece of evidence, whatever, has sensitive information on it, and therefore there's a gag order placed on that document or whatever the case may be. I could be wrong. I'm not a fucking attorney, but it's still it's a violation of First Amendment rights. For the respondent to not be able to share things or talk about things. And this isn't a minor fucking petitioner we're talking about here. This is a 40-something-year-old woman. Okay. So yeah, that's a big difference. And she's also not filing a TRO or whatever against an ex-lover of hers who lives just like halfway across town and is threatening to burn her house down or something. So yeah, that matters too. She filed a TRO over someone who I don't even know how far away she lives, but I want to say they live in the same state maybe. But either way, this person is not like fucking blocks away, I don't think. But either way, this person is not threatening to do anything. This isn't an ex-lover. This isn't someone who's filled with rage and passion over Lauren. This is someone who's like, I can't believe this fucking lady. Big difference. Anyway.
About it.
Yeah.
Let the rumor mill continue.
Yeah,
you
that's
guys
fine.
decide
That's
what you
whatever.
think about what I did. That's your right to discuss. Go ahead.
You attempted to fuck around, but you still found out.
So you have this obsessive behavior that increases risk. You have this inordinate amount of anger and rage towards you, which shows up in those TikToks and those social media. And another thing that people have pointed out that
It shows up in those TikToks and those social media. What does that even mean? Seriously, is it showing up just in Christina's TikTok and social medias? Or is it more than one? Like, that is so vague. Like, I feel like if you were truly being in fear of your life, you'd be a little bit more specific about the crimes being done, or at least what you envision to be crimes being done against you, you know?
totally agree with is several people that have looked at the TikTok have written and said, one person wrote, those are the most menacing TikToks I've ever seen. Somebody else wrote, it seems like she's taking
That person has obviously never been on Twitter.
pleasure in those, right? That suggests.
It's not pleasure. Oh my God. Okay. So what she's getting out of it is relief. Sure, that's a pleasurable feeling or pleasure. It's a feeling of pleasure, whatever. It feels good. Sure. But she's not doing it so she can be in this, what's the word I'm looking for? Like this dopamine kick high or whatever, like on this like legit pleasure filled high. She's just wanting people to bear witness. And that's a relief when you see that they are. It's not pleasure. Pleasure would be not having to do them, period, really, I think.
That there's, if that's true, that suggests that there's a sadistic quality.
Oh my God.
That this is someone taking pleasure in harming you, taking pleasure in hurting you, taking pleasure in trying to ruin your character and your reputation and your livelihood and your life. Right? That's a risk factor.
Ruin her reputation and livelihood. With the exception of maybe one time, she hasn't even named this person by name. It's one of those things where if you know, you know, if you don't, you don't. And she only had like 600 followers when she started. So only maybe 600 people knew.
Someone who has sadistic qualities.
Yeah, how sadistic of her for not just keeping her mouth shut about this shitty treatment she received from someone who was supposed to be a friend. Like, how dare she reveal and explain her side of things and make them feel all sorts of uncomfortable up in their, you know, crazy huge platform or whatever. What a bitch.
It's going to be a higher risk. Another risk factor here is this very oppositional, let's call it antisocial quality, which is violating a stalking injunction in the first several hours after it's issued, right? That's basically saying, I don't care. If you
What is he talking about there? Is he talking about like the mic drop moment? I don't think he is, though, because after that hearing, the stalking injunction was lessened. And I want to say not long after that, Lauren just withdrew her shit anyway. But so I'm thinking it's the original injunction, the original TRO. Like, how does she violate that within hours? I missed that, I guess.
see the picture of her in the bar with you, the message she's sending is, not only do I not care about the stalking injunction, but I'm going to intimidate you. That is a
or when you take everything, the full context into play, the message was probably, here I am at this crime convention thing, true crime convention thing that I've been looking forward to and bought tickets for long ago. I'm here to hang out and meet lots of people who I haven't already met and to see some of my friends. And I'm here to have a good time talking about the things that interest us. But then I get served this bullshit by someone who knew damn well I'd be here and how long and how much I look forward to this. And she waited to this day to fucking serve me with it. So now I can't go to any of the events for crime, true crime thing, because that's what's written in the order. And she also wasn't allowed to talk to people that Lauren listed in this order, which I'm not sure what that's about yet. But so she probably thought, well, hell, here's a bar that has nothing to do with the true crime convention. I'm going to go there with some of my friends and I'm going to have a couple of drinks and eat dinner. And then in comes Lauren and just sits there and then says, oh, how dare she be here while I'm here? I feel threatened. Like, what? This is crazy. I'm
clear message of power and control and dominance and intimidation.
All those things he just explained accurately and exactly described Lauren for the reasonings why she decided to have the TikToker served upon arrival at this convention. That's how that comes off to be. Yeah. My God, my stomach's really crazy.
He's saying, I'm here. I don't care about this injunction. I am going to continue to intimidate and control you no matter what. Try and stop me. That's concerning.
That's funny because if you hear her speak, the TikToker, if you hear her speak on the police officer's body cam, there's like 2 of them, I think, maybe 3, but at least 2 of them. If you hear her speak, at no point in time is that the impression you walk away with. No, you walk away with, holy shit, she handled that well. Oh my God, I would have flipped my shit. But look at her. She's respectful. She's handling it. She's like, okay, yeah, this is bullshit, but okay, yeah. Yeah.
The mic drop moment I just mentioned.
Recording the police officer
Recording the police officer.
calling after somebody that was called by police implicated her.
The calling of the police officer, I don't know if this was any state, either state was a two-party consent state, but she called a public official, basically, a civil servant. She called them at their place of business, over like business-related reasons. Pretty sure she has a right to record that. I'm not positive. Like, maybe it's different in the state that they're in. I don't know, but like, I'm pretty sure I have that right here in New York State. And now if it's something of sensitive material or something like that, then probably not. But that's not what this was about. She called the police officer, and she was recording the police officer because the police officer was telling her, you could be arrested for this or whatever. And she's like, well, can you please just relay to me what criminal statute you are referring to? And the police officer couldn't. Now, for granted, every state has a ton of statutes, and I don't think anyone can really remember them all. I don't care who you are. So I get that. And she got that. And she's like, no, listen, I understand that. I can respect that. So I'll wait. Go ahead. Go look it up. I understand. As long as it takes, whatever. That's what she recorded. So, yeah.
And so he decided to call her too, and that she called him back to record it.
Right. Recording the police officer, posting it online, and essentially not taking the police officer seriously. That's extreme.
Well, because the police officer revealed himself to not be of seriousness. Like, he basically called to try to strong arm her with some like obscure threat, like, oh, you'll be breaking the law or whatever. And then when she called him on it, he didn't really have much for her. So, I mean, if that was serious, then I'd hate to see fucking around,
Extremely oppositional. That's very antisocial. That's a very antisocial feature.
Calling someone while at a convention of your peers is antisocial. Okay, sure. This is antisocial. The two of them getting up on stream to formulate and then to insist upon this narrative while losing their friends left and right to the point where their friends are making TikToks about them. I'd say that that's kind of antisocial, but that's just me.
Posting that
What a cute
I feel
dog.
threatened in a message to her, and then posting that online.
Oh, that dog is so cute in the background.
And all of this,
Doesn't matter.
by the way,
What is
so
this
we're
talking
talking about
about?
risk factors.
Yeah, let's just talk.
We're talking risk factors. Here, I don't care about this injunction. And all of
Doesn't matter.
this, by the way, so we're talking about risk
Yeah, let's
factors,
just talk.
Whatever.
let's call it antisocial quality,
I wish I could speed this.
which is violating a stalking injunction in the first several hours after it's issued, right? That's basically saying, I don't care. If you see the picture of her in the bar with you, the message she's sending is, not only do I not care about the stalking injunction, but I'm going to intimidate you. That is a pure message of power and control and dominance and intimidation. She's saying, I'm here. I don't care about this injunction. I am going to continue to intimidate and control you no matter what. Try and stop me. That's concerning. The mic drop moment I just mentioned.
Recording the police officer
Recording the police officer.
calling after somebody that was called by police implicated her. And so he decided to call her too, and that she called him back to record it.
Right. Recording the police officer, posting it online, and essentially not taking the police officer seriously. That's extremely oppositional. That's very antisocial. That's a very antisocial feature.
Posting that I feel threatened in a message to her and then posting that online.
What?
And all of
Doesn't
this,
matter.
by the way, so
My
we're talking
dog
about
stuff.
risk
Yeah, let's
factors.
just talk.
Wait, what is she saying there? She's saying that the TikToker message that she felt threatened, or that Lauren messaged the TikToker saying she felt threatened, and then the TikToker put that online. And did Lauren send this after she had her served with this TRO? I wonder.
We're talking risk factors, right? All of these are risk factors, but they all lead to one thing, and that is dehumanization. What they're doing here is they're portraying you as evil, as the devil, even though Pinata Samurai doesn't mind if you're the devil.
No one was portraying her as that, but it seems that somebody else might view her as that. And I wonder if Dr. John there is actually Pinata Samurai. Like, somebody get that boy some Fruit Ninja already. Come on.
Devil, by the way. Thank you, Pinata Samurai, for acknowledging that.
He just wants to keep saying that name over and over again. That's so annoying. It's not even that cool of a screen name. I don't give a shit. It's fine, but it's not that cool.
Apparently, even the devil does really good work.
The devil does do good work, but I will do.
But wouldn't the devil be immoral in his whole virtuous violence theory? The devil would be considered immoral. So what, now he's all cool with the devil, or her being called the devil, because now it works in their favor, right? Now it's not virtuous violence on their part. Now it's like, I don't know, banter or something. Yeah, okay.
Do my best to not be like the devil.
All of this leads to dehumanization, and you and I know every crime we've ever covered just is involved.
I disagree, Dr. John. None of this is dehumanizing. In fact, this is human nature. This is exactly how humans behave. Sure, maybe not all the time, but you get enough people around and people are going to start going at each other. Anywhere you find humans, you find corruption, you find betrayal, you find bullshit, you find like, it's human fucking nature. This isn't dehumanizing.
Some level of dehumanization.
Absolutely, that is crime. Dehumanization.
And all of this is about dehumanizing you. Even the people that are mocking you, the memes, it's all dehumanizing, right? But they don't care,
Memes?
right? So, which is fine.
Which is fine.
I want to see
I've been giving people some good content.
She says it's fine, but I don't think that's really what she means. So yeah. And I disagree with that. Sure, she may be the foundation of this good content, but every single content creator who's covered this or did commentary, they brought something else to it too. They brought their own shit to it. So the content that proved to be good content wasn't solely because of her. It was largely in part because of the content creator. But yeah, she did kind of give them something to work off of, I guess.
A 9-hour live would do that.
Yes, it will.
So I think we've come to the end of this segment.
Thank God.
Okay.
I've covered why I think this is a risk. I've covered why it shouldn't be dismissed and taken seriously. It's virtuous violence. It's a moral crusade, right? I've covered some of the risk factors, but let's back up a little bit and talk about both the definition of stalking and the psychology of stalking, because I
Okay.
think those are going to help us go a little deeper here.
Okay.
All right.
But before I do, I just want to make the final point that the reason why human beings like to engage in moral crusades is because it really simplifies the world.
It does.
And it also fosters conformity. So for those of you out there who know a little bit about philosophy, if any of you read Nietzsche on Good and Evil, you understand the importance of Nietzsche's idea that all morality is essentially an attempt to foster and maintain social norms and social moral systems, because the prevailing ruling classes do not want challenges or change. And by enforcing an existing system of morality, you're also making the world fit into a very narrow box, right? And so that's one of the problems of a moral crusade, is that if you don't fit within that box, then you're going to be vilified, right? And so you became vilified. As we talked about on our Patreon, in one of the declarations, the TikToker made it very clear that conformity was a big part of this issue.
Yeah. That was actually
I got commented some of that.
in their declaration, and sort of been giving people some good content.
Okay, here we go.
A 9-hour live would do that.
So I think we've come to the end of this segment.
Okay.
I've covered why I think this is a risk. I've covered why it shouldn't be dismissed and taken seriously. It's virtuous violence. It's a moral crusade, right? I've covered some of the risk factors, but let's back up a little bit and talk about both the definition of stalking and the psychology of stalking, because I
Okay.
think those are going to help us go a little deeper here.
Okay.
But before I do, I just want to make the final point that the reason why human beings like to engage in moral crusades is because it really simplifies the world.
It does.
And it also fosters conformity. So for those of you out there who know a little bit about philosophy, if any of you read Nietzsche on Good and Evil, you understand the importance of Nietzsche's idea that all morality is essentially an attempt to foster and maintain social norms and social moral systems.
No.
Because
Well, social norms and social moral systems, or social moral systems, I think, are two completely different things. Used in totally different contexts. So social norms means that, yeah, sure, if someone's doing something abnormal, it can be upsetting depending on what it is. But people do shit abnormal all the time, and sometimes the abnormal will then become the normal because it gets people to think outside the box or something. Okay, you know what I mean? So just because it's not a social norm doesn't automatically make it this like battle of morality. Now, social moral systems, I think, is kind of like insisting on people living by like the law. You know, especially like the parts of the law that are modeled after the 10 Commandments, like thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not, I don't know, go after your neighbor's wife and shit like that. Maybe not so much the Lord's Day and attending church and shit like their Lord's name and whatever. Those probably don't apply. But that's the social moral system, because nobody wants to live in a system or in a society where people are just going around doing whatever the fuck they want to each other, taking whatever they want from everyone. No one wants to live like that. So yeah, they would be abnormal and they would be upsetting to this social moral system. But just because something's abnormal doesn't make it automatically upsetting to the social moral system. It has to actually violate morals, I think. That's my opinion. I'm not a philosopher, though. What the fuck do I know? I don't even like philosophy.
the prevailing ruling classes do not want challenges or change.
Yeah, they don't want the slaves to rise up and take their power back, basically. When was Nietzsche even a thing? Like, I don't even know how old he is or how long ago he was. I don't know.
And by enforcing an existing system of morality, you're also making the world fit into a very narrow box, right?
No.
And so that's one of the problems.
No, you're making the world fit into a box where everyone can be safe and themselves, their family, their items protected, and people just don't go out of their way to fuck people over. I mean, yeah, people are still going to do that as part of human nature, but I'm talking like in extreme ways where, like, you know, you just don't come back from that. So, I mean, it's not because people just don't want things to be different. It's because they don't want things to be unsafe.
Of a moral crusade
That's
is that if you don't fit within that box, then you're going to be vilified, right?
Yeah.
And
If you don't fit within the box of agreeing to a social moral system and you want to instead go around and hurt people, sell people, kill people, and steal shit, then yeah, you might be vilified. It could be because you are presenting yourself as the villain. I don't know. Call me crazy.
so you became vilified. As we talked about on our Patreon, in one of the declarations, the TikToker made it very clear that conformity was a big part of this issue.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah. That was actually
Well,
in their
and the only way I could see that being used, maybe technically it'd still be a stretch, don't get me wrong, would be in the TikToker maybe not wanting her to be such a bitch. You know, I'm not saying she's a bitch. I'm just saying that I think that might have been what the TikToker was thinking. You know, like, hey, how about you do conform with the rest of us and not be such a bitch? That's my opinion. Maybe that's what they meant. It wasn't something like, hey, conform with us, immoral people. Which is ironic. Because by him giving this as an excuse, he's almost doing the same exact thing that he's been saying other people, or no, not almost, he is. By him saying they wanted you to conform, but you wouldn't conform. So no, wait, if she doesn't conform, is she the evil one or are they the evil one? See, I'm so confused now with his train of thought.
declaration and sort of the little joke that I made on our Patreon exclusive episode, which is no longer Patreon exclusive. Thanks to those who picked it apart and shared it. But
Yes, I thank you too.
yeah, in their declaration, their angst against me, or one of the things that upset me, was that I talked about how I don't like to conform. And then I jokingly said, thanks for being a Patreon supporter.
I'm pretty sure that's not what ruffled people's feathers. Just saying.
Because that particular episode was behind a paywall, which meant that someone was paying and sending that on to them. But it was ironic because you have always talked about the fact that one reason this type of thing happens is because they're upset that I'm not conforming.
I talked about the classic example of the Salem witch trials from 1692, where obviously witches are seen as an abomination. They're seen as demonic, right? They're seen as separate from the community, not conforming to the community's morals, right? So in many ways, the Salem witch trials were
my personal opinion, why someone was deemed a witch in those days and then put on a stake or whatever the case may be, was for one of two reasons. One, people were genuinely actually afraid of the concept of witches and believed them to be people who were going to be out to harm them or their loved ones. So it wasn't just, why can't you be like the rest of us sort of thing. It was like, yo, you evil as fuck, and it's only a matter of time before you kill off my family. You got to go. That kind of thing. Sure, it's irrational, but I do believe that there were some people who believed that. But I think for the most part, it was just a bunch of men who were sick and tired of whatever woman in their life just kept being right. And so they falsely reported them as being witches and got rid of them. That's what I think. I'm a bit cynical though. So
they showed similarities to a moral crusade. And we'll talk about that a little later. We won't get into that too much, but so I want to make that point before we move on, because I want people to understand the purpose of a moral critique.
As it stands now, I titled this like, oh, I'm going to wrap this up. Obviously, I'm not wrapping the shit up. I do want to get through a bit more of it, though, so I only have a smidgen left, maybe.
Routines and social interactions.
Not even halfway through.
This includes monitoring their social media.
What?
The goal is to gather repeated. Yep, check, 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 check.
No.
Here's how being sent to you, you said, please don't do this, and the person continued. Not only continued, but escalated. The R stands for repeated. I think that's obviously a no-brainer. Was this behavior repeated? Obviously, over and over and over. So the definition of stalking them.
You mean they didn't conform? They kept doing what they wanted instead of bowing to whatever pressures you were putting on them? They didn't conform to your will? Oh, what a bitch.
The most simplistic criteria for stalking are fixated, obsessed, unwanted, repeated. Yep, check, 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 check.
Okay, unwanted though, it's not that simple, okay? Like, my bills are unwanted. I can't just like suddenly take, fucking one of the companies to court saying they're fucking harassing me. You know what I mean? Okay, lots of things are unwanted, okay? But your uncomfortable or your delicate sensibilities with what you don't want should never supersede somebody else's right to free speech. You're not that entitled. You're not. Like, and why would you even think you were? Seriously.
Check. Here's how on one of the websites that talks about the big four defines stalking. Stalking, and this is stalking. This is physical or cyber. This is both, right? Quote, this is from a website in the UK. Stalking is a pattern of unwanted, repeated behavior.
No, you can't have any of my Tylenol, Motrin, or my Benadryl. No, don't look at me like that. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? She's so cute.
That can leave you feeling scared or distressed. You don't have to be threatened with violence to be a victim of stalking. Any kind of persistent, unwanted contact that causes distress is stalking.
That's stalking.
Do you fit that definition?
So they have to contact you, okay, rather than just, I don't know, not contact you or avoid your attempts to contact. Okay. Interesting.
Yes.
I just like to understand the law better, that's all. Okay, don't step on my keyboard.
Let's talk about, again, this is from the same UK website. I'm also pointing out that this is not just this, the definition of stalking and cyber stalking we're talking about. This is all over the world. This doesn't just apply here. This is an Australia.
Why can't he pull something from the fucking United States, though? Or even from his own state, or whatever state this took place in? Like, why is he got to go all the way to the UK? Huh? Could that be cherry picking? I don't know. Call me crazy.
Australia. This is in the UK, right? To identify stalking, they talk about this, what they call the SLII, double I strategy. To identify stalking, professionals often use the SLII strategy. What's the first S? Surveillance. Stalkers often engage in surveillance, closely watching and tracking their victims' movements, routines, and social interactions. This includes monitoring their social media. The goal is to gather personal.
Huh. So stalking is monitoring someone's social media as though they're doing surveillance, like making sure to capture everything they say or do. Is that? I'm so glad that I'm listening to this explanation from Dr. John, because I'm starting to understand things more.
Information and maintain a sense of control over the victim.
And let's talk about recording when at trials or crime con. Interestingly enough, one of the people who wrote a declaration for the stalker, Janice, admitted to filming us multiple times, and then even showed in evidence her filming both my producer Grayson and myself, even at CrimeCon after the stalking injunction was
Wait,
put out, and actually put those videos that she
who did the filming? Damn it.
Routines and social interactions. This includes monitoring their social media. The goal is to gather personal information and maintain a sense of control over the victim.
And let's talk about recording when at trials or CrimeCon. Interestingly enough, one of the people who wrote a declaration for the stalker, Janice, admitted to filming us multiple times, and then even showed in evidence her filming both my producer Grayson and myself, even at CrimeCon after the stalking injunction was.
So someone who wrote a declaration in support of the respondent, the TikToker, someone, not the TikToker, but someone, recorded you in public and admitted to this, and then shared some of it, with the court? Is that what I'm hearing? What they recorded you at the crime con or whatever, and in a public courthouse during a trial? Okay, but wasn't it part of the 9-hour live stream that Laura did, where she talked about how she recorded the TikToker or something while in the public courthouse? I mean, I don't follow here. And did the other person, did they have a TRO against them? No, they didn't. So they didn't break a law. They did nothing wrong. They probably knew just how fucking ridiculous this was, and they wanted to document shit for themselves, or for whatever reason. I'm sorry you didn't like that. I can understand why you didn't like that. Really, I can. But that's the price you pay for going out in public, I think. So
was put out, and actually put those videos that she unknowingly took of me into evidence.
She unknowingly took of you?
But there's other ways that you're being, the surveillance applies here.
Correct.
That
Other
they're
ways.
following your Patreon. They're following when you did a Mormon Stories. She lets you know that she's watching that.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me that your public content that you put out publicly, someone's watching? And your Patreon, where really anyone can join so long as they pay the fee, there's someone in there watching your content in there? That's probably why and how your channel got to be so big. I don't see what the bitch is, though, now. Seriously, every viewer of Hidden True Crime might want to take into account, just be wary of what kind of parasocial relationship you might knowingly or unknowingly find yourself in regarding these two, because you might also very well be accused of stalking. It makes sense.
She's following everything you're posting, everything you're doing, every social media post. She's recording you without your consent. She's clearly.
You don't get to give consent in public. You don't have a right to privacy or an expectation of privacy. And you just said that it wasn't the TikToker doing it. It was someone who gave a declaration for the TikToker. But now we're turning it into the TikToker doing all of this. See, this is what I can't stand. It's these little manipulation tactics that so many people use just to spread whatever propaganda or narrative that they want out there. That really just fucking drives me crazy. This is the most selfish, inconsiderate, harmful thing one can do to any community, virtual or otherwise. It's fucked up.
And she's doing this to gather personal information to harm you.
She even admits, I'm looking for their LinkedIn because I want to see who they're linked to. Isn't it strange they don't have it?
Was this before or after you served her with a TRO? Because if it was after, well, then she was probably acting as her own attorney. And, well, she's got to do that. I mean, you don't get to put her in the position of having to defend herself and then hold it against her for defending herself. Like, It's not how that works.
I'm going to call UNLV. I did call UNLV. We know other people that they have contacted. Thank you to those who have reached out.
UNLV.
So surveillance. Number 2, life invasion. The tactic.
Surveillance, I think, in this context means like putting up cameras that they don't know are there around their own like personal space. Putting up cameras in any space that might be deemed private, and around their own home, maybe like surveillance, maybe sitting outside their house watching to see when they come and go, and simply doing that, just doing that may not even be enough. Simply doing that to then like kind of be menacing toward them with that information that you gain from surveillance, that would then, I think, constitute the surveillance problem.
It involves invading the victim's personal life or space. It can be as subtle as sending frequent, unsolicited messages, including on social media. Are you receiving frequent, unsolicited messages? Absolutely.
From whom? From whom? He doesn't clarify whom or whatever are sending these messages. Just that they're receiving unsolicited messages. You're a content creator. I'm pretty sure that the majority of the messages you get, you never solicited. That doesn't make them bad, don't get me wrong, but everything's unsolicited because you're the focal point. You're the figure. You're the one people want to connect with. So they try to connect with you. Just because you're making a video doesn't mean you solicit connections. But it's part of the gig. So just because they're unsolicited is enough. But again, I ask who's doing this? Because you're not clarifying that it's the TikToker. In fact, you're being extremely unclarifying on that part. So,
third one is the I part, intimidation. Stalkers often use intimidation to instill fear. How about showing up at CrimeCon when the stalking injunction said she couldn't, and then showing up in the bar?
She got served at the CrimeCon in the hotel. So, and she bought tickets months prior. She went where she had every intention of going for a long time. It was only upon arriving there that you had her served. So you then don't get to hold it against her for showing up. The bar, again, I'm pretty sure, I'm not positive on this, but my limited understanding of that, what transpired there was that the TikToker was in the bar first. I'm not positive though.
10 feet from you, taunting people, taunting the police who had issued this injunction, within hours showing up at the bar, basically saying to you, I don't care, I'm in control, I'm going to intimidate, I don't care about this injunction, I own you, right? It's intimidation.
For going to a public space, a bar, not part of the crime convention. See, now if the TikToker showed up to all of the CrimeCon events disregarding the injunction and just kept walking right past Lauren like without a care in the world, then this description might apply. Her going to one public place to get something to eat, maybe have a drink with some friends. And the fact that Lauren felt entitled to even take that from her, that's intimidation.
The nature of intimidation is threatening messages, aggressive behavior, implying harm. Implying harm. So it can be something as simple as implying harm. Is there implicit threats and implicit harm for this? Absolutely.
Yes.
How about ruining your kingdom, burning your kingdom to the ground?
What?
Is that harm?
Yeah.
It also can include reputational harm. The final one is interference. The stalker is involved in deliberately interfering with the victim's life.
So
Examples include damaging someone's reputation or
damn it, I didn't want that to play. Okay.
traps. The goal is to isolate the victim and make them feel powerless or dependent.
That happened.
Right, exactly.
You lady, you have a channel of over 314 subscribers last I checked. Her TikTok blew up because of this all the way up to almost 2,000. 2,000. So you have 312,000 more subscribers as her, but you're the one who feels alone and alienated. Okay, sure, fam. You're the one who wanted to prevent her from enjoying and participating and attending something to look to for months and seeing people colleagues and everything of hers. But you feel alienated. Okay.
You meet all those criteria. I'm going to read, let's talk specifically about cyber stalking now.
Oh my God. Like, dude, this dude needs to just get out of the books for a minute, because this shit that he's talking about and trying to apply here, it does not apply. It has place in these ridiculous real world, real human interactions amongst people, just socially. Like, seriously, you need to get out of it. Get your fucking head out of the book. Maybe, I don't know, go to a park and sniff an ass or something. You got to do something. Like, for real. But holy shit, he does look like Peter Griffin. Oh my God. Crazy.
This is from the textbook. This is my favorite textbook on criminal psychology, by the way. Criminal Behavior, a Psychological Prose, 12th edition. It's by Kurt Bartol and Ann Bartol, page 521. Their definition of cyber stalking is using the internet or other forms of electronic communication to threaten or engage in unwanted advances towards another.
That's interesting. So that's cyber harassment. You use cyber devices, whatever, to threaten someone or to insist upon like unwanted advancements. I'm guessing that means text messages that are unwanted. Huh. Funny, Lauren, it's not talking ill of someone. Imagine that.
Pretty simple, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Were you threatened? Yes.
No.
Was it unwanted advances? Absolutely.
What was unwanted advances though? Like private messaging? And they just kept messaging you? Or are you conflating like unwanted advancements to be, I didn't like having to hear what you said about me on your public TikTok channel? To which I have to state that if you are following her TikTok and you are subjecting yourself to it, then you kind of be harassing yourself. I mean, seriously, it'd be like almost tapping someone's phone. No, there wouldn't be that. Maybe in a party line, tapping someone's phone just to hear what someone's saying about you, or there being a birthday party you weren't invited to, and you going and under disguise just so you can hear what someone has to say about you. That's kind of what it's like. Why are you doing that to yourself, though?
Let's talk about cyberbullying.
Okay.
This is how I define cyberbullying. Quote, cyberbullying is defined as sending or posting harmful or cruel text or images using the internet or other digital communication devices.
So that's cyberbullying, is when someone sends messages or images to harass and disparage, harm another person using text or whatever. Huh. It's not giving your opinion on someone that turned out to be a little fucking crazy on your TikTok channel. That's not what cyberbullying is, especially when you don't say their name.
Was saying that you engaged in non-consensual, that you desired to engage in non-consensual relations with your brother to obtain his sperm? Was that a cruel message?
Yeah.
That's cyberbullying.
Okay, no.
That's
not cyberbullying if that's what was said. Is it in poor taste? Yes. I do not agree with the fact that the TikToker did that, because regardless, these were conversations and with the assumption of some remnants of privacy, I think, attached to them, but mostly conversations that one person was having while grieving the loss of her sibling, someone she's known almost her entire life. You know, I think people are allowed to maybe talk a little crazy and not have it held against them. So I don't agree with the TikToker sharing it. Sure, she had a right to do it, but just because you have a right to do something doesn't make it the right thing to do. That's my opinion. But it's still not harassment.
I'm just going to say quickly what this is also ultimately, this is what Bartol and Bartol say about cyber stalking. Quote, ultimately, much cyber stalking is designed to control the victim through threats and harassment. So a large part of this.
To control the victim, in other words, to have them served with a TRO, to restrict their movement at this convention that they bought tickets for months prior, really look forward to going. That would be a form of control, I think. And then to try to control what they post on their channel, on their public access places or whatever, that would be a sense of control. Yeah. Huh. It's almost like cyberbullying through the legal system. Huh. Because if the TikToker wasn't controlling you with her TikToks, if she wasn't controlling you by you bombarded with all this shit that you have to put your attention to, or with crazy accusations or whatever, then she wasn't controlling you. But you doing that in response is absolutely controlling, in my opinion. I'm learning so much today.
Is about control.
Oh no.
Here's another
Right.
definition
I'm going to listen to this last part and then I'm going to wrap this up and I'm going to have to do another part.
of cyberbullying. This is from a research article.
By whom?
Oh, building upon this, the definition
Why is that not coming through now? I'm getting it. Okay.
of traditional bullying, the authors have been cyberbullying as, quote, an aggressive.
Who are the authors? What research article? Come on. If you're going to cite it, you got to cite it.
Intentional act carried out by a group or individual using electronic forms of contact repeatedly and over time against a victim who cannot easily defend him or herself.
That's interesting.
Some might argue.
So is she trying to argue that her with the huge platform was unable to defend herself, but the TikToker with the very, very small platform was able to overpower Lauren?
You that you could defend yourself, except you can't really. You couldn't.
But you trying to take away the other person's right to defend themselves, that's not controlling, right? I mean, that's like the definition of control. That's you, again, wanting to say and do whatever the fuck you want to someone and about someone and expecting them to not have it, to not have the ability, the right to speak on it. That's controlling. Anyways, on that note, I'm going to wrap this up. Damn it, I removed the wrong one. Remove this one. Okay. So I am going to come back and I'm going to finish this up. I want to throw it out there for the entitlement translator video. If anyone has any, is familiar with that 9-hour stream, there's a part there where you really like to see me cover, please, I beg you, I implore you, please send me the timestamps. You can send it to me, leave it in a comment section under this video here, or in the comment section under this live. It's a live stream, I know, and you're going to catch it on replay, but it wasn't a really live stream. This is how I get shit uploaded without having to go through the process of editing and waiting for it to upload. I stream unlisted and then make it public. Anyway, so we leave it under in the comment section under this stream. You can email it to me. That's ekcpeoplesuck@gmail.com. You can send it to me on Twitter. That's @SlayerUtica, SlayerUtica. We can send it to me on Facebook too, but I mean, I don't really accept a lot of Facebook. I'm a little bit more personalized, maybe. But yeah, I think that's really it. I don't think I'd participate much on any other media platforms, especially for this channel. So my bad. Send it to me there. Yeah, that's it. Email, Twitter. Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great evening. Bye.